Hi guys, my name is Jana, for those of you who don't know yet, and I promise to come back with you guys on the tips and tricks on the selling. I do have to say that both videos go hand in hand. If you haven't seen the other video on how I got from Rex Baby probably to, for me, success, I would say just watch that first because it has some tips and tricks on how to get started. And these are now on selling. So first of all, I have a little video that I made last year that comes in handy right now. I made it off my table and I want to show you what my table looks like. First of all, the eye catcher is very important. You want something that is up high, that is luxurious, that looks gorgeous, that when people walk into, if you do fairs, for instance, if they walk into a hall, then 3 rows down they will be, that you can catch their eye with the bling. So that's what I always do. You will see that on the video too. I'm outside at this point. I have a table from May to September, and this is my outside table. You will see that the most expensive piece, the choker, and the eye catchers are up high. The V necklace is a very big eye catcher. It's a very good sales product. I've sold a lot of them. So have the things that you think are your most expensive or your most gorgeous, have them up high so they catch somebody's eye from afar. Let me put it like that. The next thing is, if you have a table, don't stack it up. It's not a flea market. Make sure that your jewelry is spread out and it's laid in a round way. If you have a necklace, laid in a round way, so when people come to your table they can already tell if it will fit their neck or not just by looking at it. So that's very important. I've seen people doing necklaces that are like straight. They you know, you got the clasps here and here's the necklace and that's how they put it down, but it doesn't work for me. Make sure that your table is not too full, that it doesn't look like you're on a flea market, and you can oversee your table easier, and it will be easier to see if something is missing, if something is stolen. And I have to say, I've never had in all these years had anything stolen from me, because you can notice it more easily. If you would just Google flea market table or something like that, or you will see that there's lots of people that put jewelry on top of each other. It's all stacked up. You would have to pull out stuff from there, and you know, if something on top is missing, you will never notice it. So make sure that your table is, you can see everything on your table, even from the corner of your eye if you're working, and you will notice it right away if something goes missing, or if somebody tries to make something go missing. Let me put it like that. Even if you have more projects on you, make sure your most valuable ones, the ones that you think are the prettiest, just very important, don't stack up. Even if you're on a flea market, stand out. I mean, seriously, make sure that your table looks good. Be different. Don't be afraid to be different. That's one of the tips that I have. That's if you're gonna do bead markets. There are many markets that I did. I even did a Gothic market, and I tell you, I sold so much at the Gothic market, it's not even funny. I even sold more at the Gothic market than I did at the jewelry markets, but the Gothic market table was a little bit too expensive. So you gotta make choices where you want to go. As for creative markets, you know, where people all get together with their quilts and their tatting and all that kind of stuff, when everything is together, those are fairly big markets. It's hard to stand out. Also, there's a lot of competition, and most of the time, if you're in the beginning of the entrance, people will pass you by and say, well, I just got in, I'm not going to buy anything. By the time they come back to you, they spend all their money. So that is a bit of a problem, where you are positioned. So if there's a chance that you can change tables, then find a table where you can go somewhere in the middle. Also very important is make sure you don't have a table under 2 meters, because if you got like a meter and a half, then people don't take you seriously. They will pass you by. I noticed that when I tried to do a fair by myself, I got the smallest table I could. I had enough room for all my stuff, but people just passed me by like I didn't exist. And so what I did was, together with a friend, we got 3 meters of table, and then we split that in half. So that's also very good. Also a good tip is, please don't go alone. Make sure there's 2 of you for pair of eyes. See more than 2 pair of eyes. And if you need to alter something, if you need to change something, if somebody said this cord is too long, I need it shorter, then you want to keep that customer, of course, but you know, you also need somebody to watch that table for you. So it's good. You'll be able to walk away if you have to, and go to the bathroom without having to worry that that your stuff is getting stolen while you're, you know, when you have to do your business. But yeah, I do this with my mom. My mom has retired, and she really loves doing this. So as long as she is willing to still do this, we're going to continue doing this. Some fairs are very competitive. You will notice that the person that's standing next to you might not care about your table or what you have on your table, and maybe even is selling the same things, because market owners sometimes feel the need to put all the Swarovski together in one corner. Now that is murderous, and if it would be divided more, then you would have more chance to sell, of course. But yeah, the problem is rising above that. And let me tell you a story how I rose above that. When I started bead markets, I was the only one selling Swarovski beads, because what I did first was I went to a jewelry market and see if they sold Swarovski beads. But basically, again, doing my research, I went to the jewelry fair and checked it out. Nobody was selling Swarovski beads, so I decided I can sell Swarovski beads here. Of course, I was selling good, and after a while, other bead sellers started also bringing in the Swarovskis because they see I do well. And that's very annoying, but that's just the way it is. If somebody sees you selling something and you're doing good, then they're gonna do it also. But now the thing is to not get bothered by that and rise above it. So at a certain point, the jewelry markets, and I did this for 6 years, the jewelry markets, the people that worked on the jewelry markets, they handed out the tables, and they said where they would point you where your table was at. And then I found out that, like, other booths that started selling Swarovski also were sort of surrounding me. So what happened, I want to tell you a story about what happened. And this is a true story. And it's about the extra mile, and it's about the customer service. And it's so important that you understand this, especially if you're going to do this more than a year. Because if you're going to do this, if you're going to be selling on markets and fairs and flea markets, then you need to be consistent. You have to come back. You have to build up that steady group of customers that always will come back to you if they need beads. So let me tell you a story. There's this big booth, and I'm just a tiny girl among the others. I have 2 meters. By then I was on my own. And you got these big tables of like 8 meters, 10 meters long, and you know, and they still need to sell Swarovski, but okay, I'm over that now. And I wasn't doing too well because the other tables were basically in front of me when people came in, and they were looking there and they were buying there, and then as the last Swarovski seller, they would come to me. So, but I don't let that bother me, because I have that one thing that they don't have. I have that time, I have that patience, and I have that I have my mom, so I can focus on the customer as to where their tables are full and they need to deal with the customers very quickly. They don't have time to chat with you. They just want to sell. So as I said, I have a little bit extra time, and if I don't have it, even if it's crowded in front of my table, I will always take that extra time, and I don't care. Other customers have to wait, and if they don't like it, then they can go to another table and buy there. I'm very precise about that, because I like when I go buy something, I like full value, and I like full service myself. So if somebody else doesn't understand that, that might mean that you have to wait a little bit, then that's fine too. But anyway, I wasn't doing too well, and the other tables were, of course, selling very well because they're also selling other beads. And it gave me a chance, because the pathway is not too wide, it gave me a chance to watch the competition. And at a certain point, a lady came up to the lady across me that had the table there with the Swarovskis, and she saw a topaz necklace, a brown topaz necklace, and she really liked it, but it was too big for her. Now, the lady that was selling it, she was unwilling to alter it. Now, it's very hard to make a necklace smaller, because that means you will have to take it out and rebead it all over again, and that lady didn't have time to it. She was selling, and either take it or not, and that's basically what it came down to. And the lady loved it so much, so she bought it, but she wasn't really happy with it. But she spent her money there, and then she skedoodled over to my side and was looking at my stuff, and I didn't have a topaz necklace like that. But the thing she did was she wore it right away. So instead of having it put in a box or in a bag, she was wearing it. And then I'm kind of sneaky, and I go like, well, that's a pretty necklace. Are you happy with it? And she gave me an honest answer, because most of the Dutch people do. And she said, yeah, I'm very happy with it. I love the color, but it's a little too big for me. But I asked the lady on the other side if she could make it smaller, and she said she couldn't. She didn't have the time or whatever. And I said, well, ma'am, can I have a look at it? And I took a look at it, and you know, I already figured out how that thing worked. So I said, do you really want to make it smaller? Are you sure? And she said, yeah, I would like, I'm not sure if I'm going to wear it if it's too long, you know. I like it, but I might just wear it once because I bought it for a special outfit, and I might never wear it after that again, because it's just, I think it's too long. So I said, I can shorten it for you, ma'am. It will take me about an hour. You can have a cup of coffee with your friends, and you can come back in an hour. And she said, well, that's wonderful. How much is that going to cost me? And I said, well, it's just going to cost you the material. That's €2.50, because you already bought the bead. She paid 75 euros for that necklace. I would have sold it to her for half the price, but okay, that's me. Anyway, that lady came back. She paid her $2.50. She didn't give me a tip. She was very happy. She was very thrilled. And her friends left, and they didn't buy anything else from me. Now, the thing is, it didn't upset me, because I already knew that lady spent a lot of money on the other side. But the year after that, the first thing she did was she walked over to my table, and she started buying beads from me. She said, I remember you. Do you remember me? You altered a necklace for me for $2.50. And I said, yes, I remember you. And she brought her friends, she called her friends over, she said, the lady's here. And they were at the other table, at the other booth, where she bought that necklace, because she did mention that, you know, that brown necklace, I bought that here. And then she called her friends over, and she said, she's over here, the lady that altered it is over here. And then her friends also bought from me. And that lady has always come back to me, and she has never bought beads anywhere else, only from me. So it's a little story on how a little service can go such a long way. That for like 3-4 years I've seen this lady, and even when that lady got sick, her friends came over and told me that she got sick and she's unable to go out of the house anymore, and that they would bring her the beads, so they would come and buy from me to buy the beads. So I think that's very important. If somebody asks you to alter a necklace, and if you don't have the time, tell them, like, I'm sorry, I don't have the time, but if you down pay this necklace, I can alter it at home, and I can send it to you after you pay me, or something like that. Make some sort of a deal. Don't turn a customer away that is unhappy, because, you know, somebody else is going to pick it up. In this case, that would be me, and that lady is never coming back to you. So, and I did this on so many occasions. Pendants, very simple pendants. Cross pendant, like I got the cross pendant right here. If somebody would say, you know what, I love that little cross pendant, but can I get it in red and black? I would say, Mom, can you take care of the table? And my mom would say, of course I can. And I say, oh, I need about an hour to make it. Go ahead, have a cup of coffee, and be back in an hour, and I'll have it done for you. So anything you can do within the hour, people are always willing to wait. Now, there are some projects, of course, like a Capricorn bracelet. There's no way you can get that done in an hour. However, the fun part about the Capricorn bracelet, and now we're going to talk money. this is 8 hours work. You guys know this. Maybe some of you worked on it for 10 hours. Maybe some of you worked for it on 6 hours. But this takes me about 8 hours to do. So, how do you value a bracelet like that? Well, it's very simple for me. I have 4mm bicones in here, and I buy them for, let's say, 5 cents a piece. I buy bulk, I buy full packages, and there's also a reason I buy full packages, because when people say, that's not real Swarovski, it can't be that cheap, I say, ma'am, here are the real packages, and most of the time I will put these packages underneath my boxes that have the beads in it. So I can always say, do you think this is real packages? Because I can show you that it says here, 4mm round AB. Those are these in here. And if you want me to, this is still a sealed package. I will get this, I will open this for you if you want me to. So, but most of the time the empty packages, of course, will be on the table to show people that the Swarovski is real. So let's say, for instance, I have bought this package and there's 1,440 beads in there, and the price, if I would break it down including shipping, would be 5 cents for a 4mm round. Then I would sell the beads, I would double the price. I would sell the beads for 10 cents for 100. Okay, that's for 100, not a piece, but for 100. And I would make the sales price, if you want only 10, 13 cents per bead. That's how I would do it. Now, if I would sell this, I would count how many beads are in here. I think there were 360. And I would calculate 360 times 13 cents, not times 10 cents. But if people need 300 beads, I can say, well, they're 13 cents a piece, but if you buy per 100, so if you buy 400, you can have them for 10 cents a piece. So that would save you some money. Now you also need seed beads for this, you need fireline for this, you need sealant for this. And I am very courteous, I don't have all that stuff, so I would take the customer to the table that does sell them, and where I know that they have all the stuff they need to the seed beads, the fireline, the sealant, and the needles, and they could buy my Swarovskis if they want to make it themselves. Now, when they calculate this price, because I would charge 10 cents for these Swarovskis, and then for the seed beads I would calculate about 10 euros, and that would include the fireline and the sealant. So you would get like a cost price for this. And when people buy the loose beads from me, I don't have to do the 8 hours work. So I don't charge people for my work, because even if you charge $5 an hour, you already start this bracelet basically with somebody having to pay $40 for 8 hours of work. And with the price of the Swarovskis on top of that, and the price of the seed beads including, and the price of the fireline and the sealant, it's just not worth buying it anymore unless you go to a millionaire's fair. Then you can say, well, this bracelet costs 750 euros, take it or leave it. But most of us don't go to millionaire fairs. Yeah, that's basically how I do it. I take the cost price of my bead, I double it. If they want 100 for it, if they want 100 beads, I will double it on the 4mm, and I will put 3 cents extra if they want just like under 100 beads. And you don't know how many people will take the deal to just take 100 beads. And they ask me, with my 4mm bicones, can I have different colors? And I say, yeah, sure, because my 4mm bicones, AB, cost 6 cents, but my clear ones cost 4 cents, and then together they would be average of 5 cents. So if you want 100 ABs or 100 clear, I don't care, it's going to be the same price, because it's already calculated that way in my beads. So yeah, I don't charge people for my time, because first of all, I have a full-time job, and I want to sell, and I sell per bead. So if this bracelet costed me 10 euros, the sales price will be 20 euros. So I doubled my money, so why should I add another 40 euros for the 8 hours that I worked on it? I doubled my money. I'm fine with that, doubling my money. I mean, that's one of the things that I love to do. My card is full again, quickly. Anyway, oh yeah, what I forgot to say is also on the business card, write down how much the item that you sold costed that person. If you give a discount, say for instance, somebody comes and buys 10 necklaces and you decide to give a 10% discount, please write that down on the business card, that the 10 items that you sold and that she got a discount on it. Because, for instance, she may come back with one and wants it altered or wants a different color, and as long as it's within that year, you can always take that back. If it's more than a year, and you can say, sorry, ma'am, you've had this for over a year, I'm not going to take that back now. But, you know, if something breaks, a clasp breaks, or clasp doesn't look any good anymore, even after a year or 2 years, you can always, you know, exchange a little clasp and charge them for the clasp. But, yeah, the main thing is make a customer as happy as you can. Be honest. For God's sakes, be honest. That's what makes me stand out a lot. And people go like to me, tell me like, oh my God, you're a terrible saleswoman. You know, you could have sold me this necklace and you didn't. And I say, no, I'd rather be honest with you, ma'am. That doesn't look good on you. Or, you know, you have people that, when you have a necklace, let me show that. You have a necklace, for instance, and we got an extension cord, and it's not for nothing, of course. But if you have a necklace and that extension cord is all the way at the end like this, and they fit it, but you got this big of a gap on the back, then to me that person doesn't fit it. The extension cord is for like halfway or maybe a little over halfway, to me anyway. It might not be to you, but this is about the extent that will still look good on the back. You don't want people to have this thing all the way at the end. Yeah, it just doesn't look good. And I will honestly tell that to the people. I don't mind. If I don't make a sale, I don't mind. So I'd rather be honest with people, and it will get you a very long way. Trust me. Honesty is the best policy, especially with customers. Wouldn't it be nice if everybody would just be honest about things? And, you know, some people will love a necklace, and I think, oh my God, it doesn't look good on you. And I said, and I will honestly tell them, I said, you know, you might like the necklace. If you want to buy it, you're fine, but I don't think that suits you very well. I think, and then I go tell them what I think they should wear, and most of the time, ladies that buy jewelry almost never come alone, and they will always have a friend with them or a husband with them. And I said, you know what, maybe you don't like this necklace, but oh my God, this would look so good on you. And I'll put it on, and 9 out of 10 times the friend will go, yeah, that looks gorgeous. But I always say, if you really don't like it, ma'am, it looks gorgeous on you. If you really don't like it, if you rather have this one that you think is gorgeous but doesn't look as good, or this one that you think is not as gorgeous, then it will always be up to you, because you're the customer. But I will always be honest about that. And I know it's a stupid sales policy, but for me it works. If you go together, my mom has the tendency, my mom is a really good saleswoman, okay? My mom has the tendency to tell me to shut up and not do that. But, you know, that's just me. I'd rather be honest. And, you know, even if I lose $100 on that or 100 euros, I don't really care. I know that lady will come back next time and maybe take some 3 friends. And she will at least say, well, at least she will be honest to me. So, yeah, I don't like the tips and tricks where people, yeah, go into a store and something looks awful on them and they go like, oh my God, you look gorgeous in that dress, just to sell the dress. No, that doesn't work for me. So, but it's all up to you, of course, how you're going to be selling. If you are going on a web shop, then I think that a good plan would be is to make a video of stuff that you have for sale on your website and put that on YouTube, because YouTube gets a lot of attention. So I will put the link from moviemaker in there, how to add pictures to a video and how to upload the video. And you can leave in the description area, you can leave the links to your website where you sell your jewelry. So that's a good tip to get known. If you sell on Etsy, then add the link from Etsy. Go on Pinterest, you know, get yourself acquainted with that, and also advertise there if you have a web shop. I think it's very important to go as wide. Spread as wide, advertise as wide as you can without spamming. I could do better with my YouTube channel if I would take the time to go on forums, but my time is short, so I have to make choices. I rather answer my comments on YouTube, for instance, than go on a beading forum and you know, hop in there and tell them who I am and what I do, and that's really not, I don't have time for that, not yet anyway. So I skipped that for now, but I am on Pinterest, I am on YouTube, I am on Facebook, so whatever you have time for, do that. If you have more time, then expand wider, go on beading forums, you know, get acquainted with the people there. The wonderful thing is that most of the time when you post something, you can leave your URL link as a signature in the bottom, so you can put your website up in the signature area so that people could click on it and see what you have for sale. But I would say definitely if you got like 15 items, 10 to 15 items, make a little YouTube video and put the picture, make beautiful pictures of your work and put that on YouTube, and there will be people that will see it and will comment on it and want to know where they can get it or where they can learn it. And yeah, if people want to do for instance a caprico, but they want to do it themselves, just sell them the beads and send them over to my beading channel, and they can, you know, they can do the tutorial there. So it's very simple. You got the bead sale, I'll get the attention. Everything works two ways. If you sell something from me, it would be nice if you would add a link to my channel. You don't have to add the link what you made exactly to the tutorial. But I found that even though tutorials are wonderful, not everybody is willing to do them. A lot of people are just watching them and want to buy it. I get questions all the time. Could you please sell that to me? Could you make me one? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not doing that. But I'm doing the tutorials. That's my thing. But I don't mind if you violate my copyright laws that way, because I always say, like, please go out and sell. I'm just saying that not everybody thinks that way. So if you do somebody else's tutorial and you're selling their projects on Etsy, then go ask permission first and see how they feel about that. Because, you know, not everybody might want you to sell what you learned from them on Etsy. And yeah, just be courteous as you can, and go an extra mile for the customer. I will show you some tutorials on quickly done pendants, and you can use that for workshops, for instance, if you go do fairs. It's very important, especially if there's no other workshops there. People after a while walking around on the fairs get tired, they want to sit down, and where better to sit down than at your table where you do a workshop, because they will enjoy that. I have done a lot of pendants, very simple pendants for beginning beaders. I have done some balls, some circles, and I have done cubes, and that was for the most advanced beaders. So that's mostly for people that keep coming back to me and already did the pendant and already did a round ball, and then they say, what else you got for me? And I would do take them aside, because the cube does take a little longer, and I would take them aside and do the cube with them, and still have hopefully enough room on at my table to do also a pendant with some beginning beaders. So that's very important, and you build up customer relationship with them, and if they do a pendant and they like how they did that and it's easily done, they will go and buy 10 beads of this color and 10 beads of that color, and yeah, you're making good sales that way with workshop. So at the end of the day, when you make $100, you know, $50, you got to split it up. $50 is costs for the beads that you bought. So you put that aside, you got 50% left over. You got to take the rent of the table out of that profit too, because those are costs. Then maybe you had some food there at the fair, maybe you had some, you needed to pay some gas money, maybe you paid $10 for gas. I'll take that out of your profits, and you will know that maybe at the end of the day you will have 35 euros or dollars profit left over. And that's the way how I calculate. But it's of course it's always up to you. If you want to triple your prices, then that's up to you. Basically that is the way I work. If at the end of the day I have $35 left over, I will take probably $5 and put it to the costs, so I can buy some more beads. because of course I want to expand, so I always have to, you know, buy a little bit more than I already invested in the first place. So yeah, that's how I went from 3 boxes of Swarovski to 7 boxes of Swarovski, little by little. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. So, and there's one more thing that I wanted to tell you, how to save a little bit of money here and there. And this tip I already explained in one of the other tutorials, but in case you missed it, say for instance, I got this pendant here, say for instance, somebody says, you know what, this is too long, okay? And what I see other people do is they would, you know, put it around somebody's neck and say like, is this tight enough? And then they would cut both sides off. And then what you got is you need to put 2 new end clasps on there. And the thing I do is, instead of that, is I will, let me take that up. I will go and take one side and say, is that long enough? And when people say, yeah, that's long enough, I will cut off one side, and I will go a little deeper actually, because I still need to put the end clasps on there. And then I only have to put 1 end clasp on there. Now people that cut off both threads have to put 2 end clasps on there, and that's a waste of money, of course. But the smartest thing, if you have enough suede on you, then it's just, of course, to, you know, get this off and put a new cord on there and measure that as the way the person that wants to buy it likes it. So that would be the smartest plan. Then you still have this intact, and somebody else will say this is the perfect size. These suede cords, they are sold like in the Netherlands here, like $1 a piece, but sometimes they have them on a roll. If they're on the roll and the quality is just as good, I suggest you buy them on the roll, because when you have $1 of this, then most of the time you can only get 2 necklaces out of there. And if somebody wants it short and somebody wants it, somebody else wants it short too, then you got 2 short ones and probably a little tiny piece left over that's unused. So if you can buy it on a roll, then you can. It would be easy. It would be cheaper to use, because you can always say like, okay, I need this much, and that's what you cut off. So yes, but you will need a couple of examples with the cords to put on your table. Of course, you can't leave them all without cords and put a sign up, say whatever cord you want, I will make it for you, custom size. Well, you can. I never do that though. You gotta, you know, some people just grab it, test it, say it's good, and buy it. So it will save me some time. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Be honest. Customer service goes a long way. Prices, business card, and I think that's basically it. If there are any questions, leave them in the comment section. And if there are enough questions, I can do another one and answer all of those, or just basically answer them in the comments. But I think I pretty much covered all of those. Since I'm not, I don't have a website, I can only tell you that Wix.com, that's Wix.com, has free websites where you can set up a store. So that's good. That's a good way to start. You don't need to be a rocket scientist either to set up the website. It's very simple, very easy to do. Yep, I think that's basically it. So I'll see you guys next time with a real tutorial again. Okay, bye.